me, your host, Max Shervis. Today I'm joined by famously known Ptolemy.
My name's Claudius Ptolemy. Hello, Max. It's a pleasure being here. I'm really excited for what we've got in stock for today.
It's nice to meet you, sir, and hope you enjoy your time here. Now, there is a P at the front of your name, but how do you pronounce your name?
It's Ptolemy. It's like how the P in pterodactyl sound. If you've ever, seen any movie ever, it's pronounced Ptolemy.
All right, cool. Thank you. I'm sure a lot of our viewers will appreciate that knowledge. And so, where exactly did you reside? Because I heard you were a Roman citizen, but I'm sure it's a little more complex.
My first name is a Roman name, which is a signal or a symbol of being a Roman citizen. So yes, I am a Roman citizen, but in Roman-controlled Egypt. I'm an Egyptian native. I may speak and write, and read in Greek, but that's just because of how I was raised and how I am. But I am an Egyptian native.
So I heard that you grew up and lived your entire life in Alexandria, and near the Delta of the Nile. Is this true?
It is. It was. I actually later in my life I ended up working in the Great Library in Alexandria. That is where I was born. Not many people really do know about my personal life growing up, though. It's not really recorded well, and if it has been recorded, those recordings have been lost.
Interesting. And so, as a librarian, did you read a lot, or what was your involvement as far as books go?
Well, growing up, I had a lot of influences on me that led me to the great work of astronomy and mathematics, and I like to put math into my observations of this great solar system and our universe centered around our Earth. It was a real passion of mine, and reading and writing was part of that.
So among your most famous books, the Almagest stands out as the top one. Would you care to explain why that is?
Well, the geocentric theory is written and described by the mathematics in my Alchemist were revolutionary at the time, and at the same time were groundbreaking in the fact that they, again, would be used for generations afterwards. I believe it was up until the 1600s.
Yeah, 16th centuries.
16th century.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So, for something to live that long, just again to remind the people at home, you lived from 100 AD to about
around 170 AD.
170.
I lived to around the 69, 70 years old.
Yeah, so that's a 1,500 years for those of you at home that your geocentric model of the universe was accepted. Do you have a drawing for us?
I do have a model.
You have a drawing.
I have a drawing of a model I made. I'm kind of feeling it. I might delete it later. But, so here in the center we have Terra, our Earth. And it's the center of our solar system. And around it, supported by a heavenly made substance, there's spheres turning on spheres, almost as if the layers of a jawbreaker were spinning on each other. And on those spheres are other spheres rotating in smaller epicycles. And epicycles explain retrograde motion. It'd be easier to illustrate, but I don't have a marker with me on the compass. It's when a planet appears to go backwards in the sky as you're viewing it through a telescope or through your vision. It's what explains that. And at the time, nothing else had actually explained retrograde motion.
Okay, just real quick, I'm curious myself. Your circles seem to have a little bit of imperfections. Now, is this true with the real universe or not?
Unfortunately, today I was only able to draw up a model on short notice, and I wasn't able to use this compass as it's tied to my hoodie to make perfect circles. I have a thing about perfect circles, and it really upsets me today that these aren't perfect. And Circles are what we've been using to describe the paths of planets and objects in our universe for generations before me and generations after me.
Right, and so the planets are revolving in their epicycles in perfect circles, and then revolving around the Earth in perfect circles as well, right?
Exactly.
No, that's top notch right there.
Indeed.
And is there is there more that you did that you'd like to share with us? You know, kind of fun facts, as they say.
Well, I did work as a librarian in the Great Library of Alexandria, and not much was known about the time that I did there, or the time that I was there. But I imagine I read a lot. I imagine reading was a passion of mine, and it's what drove me to look at the stars to explain some of the things that I had been reading.
Yeah, and, I heard from through the grapevine, as they say nowadays. I'm sure you'll get accustomed to the language one day. But I heard that you were also kind of a mathematician, kind of a scientist. I believe you were one of the first people to look at geography in a different type of way. And I heard you had a little thing with music theory. Now, is this true?
All those things can be used to describe my accomplishments in this life, but I'd rather not, boast. I don't tend. That's not very forthcoming of a trait, and I tend to avoid it.
Thank you. So one last thing, do you know, like, if you could explain to the people what type of maths do you use? Like, I'm sure you did use calculus because Newton created that after you were alive. Was it like algebra, trigonometry, something like that?
A combination of the two of them. They were both used in my mathematical observations of the universe.
Right. And, folks at home, it looks like that's all the time we have today. My producer off camera is telling me it's time to cut it. Ptolemy, thank you for joining us today. I hope you have a great, wonderful life ahead of you.
Yep.